Hello, Brother Steve. Welcome to another great Brother Steve Skype interview. And you know what? I tell y'all, we always do it right here at Brother Steve Enterprises. If you want us to do a Skype interview with you to promote your new book, CD, event program, call me up toll free. 1-888-998-4677. My information is right there on the screen. You know, like every other time, I always bring you the guests that make a difference. And there's no exception on today. My good friend, Reverend, Minister, Elder, whatever, Jonathan Archie. What's up, Doc?
What's up, man? How are you?
Man, I'm doing good, Doc. I see you out there on tour, so we literally had to catch up with him while he's at a hotel on the road. He's out there making things happen. So he said, well, let me come do this interview, Doc. It's almost 2 o'clock in the morning here, but we had to catch him because his schedule is so crazy. Tell me about this new book you got going out there.
Man, I am so excited to have this book in my hand. It's 8 years of just practice and experience and just dealing with God's people, trying to encourage them, trying to let them know that there is real hope. You can be in church and not really feel like there's real hope. And so being in the church, working in the church, and loving the church, I felt, Lord, what can I do to help motivate and encourage people who love you but who are going through and who don't seem to have the answers and the strength and to overcome? So I wrote this book called You Can Overcome It. And it just
for the church folks.
For the church folk, yeah, man. It's I think it's travesty if we are a part of something that doesn't benefit us. I think if you're going to be in the church, you should experience the blessings and benefits of being in the church. And so this is written with the church in mind.
So now tell us, you said it's for the church folks, but can this book apply to people who are not even in the church? I mean, what's the main topic of the book? What's the main focus of this book?
Oh, most definitely. It's written to really address every human experience. I talk about, how things affect our thinking, how things affect our mind, how to overcome mental challenges, how to deal with emotional dysfunction, how to deal with abuse, emotional, physical, spiritual, how to deal with pain, how to process pain, how to deal with everyday life challenges. The reason why I mentioned the church was because a lot of people in the church have just been falling through the cracks. And, it's easy to identify needs in the world, but sometimes it's hard to identify needs right among you. So I just felt called of God to really address those who are falling through the cracks and at every level of life. And so that's what I did.
Give me an example of something in this book that can be very helpful to some of our viewers out there that that would be a powerful point for them.
Okay, for example, the first chapter in the book talks about messing with your mind. So I talk about how the enemy really targets our sanity, and how Daniel said he'll try to wear the saints out in the last days, right? Well, where is that battle going to take place? In our mind. And so I talk about how to be aware of satanic devices, thoughts, conversation, things that come to distract you and to immobilize you and to hinder your progress. All that takes place in the mind. That's where the battleground is. And so I talk about how to overcome mental challenges.
Well, what constitutes you as the professional to tell me and my viewers about, these challenges, these things? I mean, what makes you this new expert on this topic?
I'm glad you asked. 2 things. One, I've been in church all of my life. When I was in college, I studied sociology with an emphasis on behavioral studies. And so that plus 10 years of pastoring, being a youth pastor, counseling people, I just kind of, in my own experiences, kind of just meandered through this maze of life, and along the process, I learned, which that's my first book called The Process. I had to put that plug in. I learned lessons. I learned how to take what I was taught and trained and to implement it. And in the implementation of it, I saw that it worked. And so I'm just passing on the same information that got me healed and that got me over hurdles.
Let me frame this another way. After all this time, they've been around, come to find out they see the pastor at Walmart or at a store somewhere, and they just go ask the pastor. And all this time, they find out that everything that they heard through the grapevine was not true. It was someone making up a story to create confusion. How would you address that issue?
I would say that, that people should have the freedom and the liberty to address and question the actions of a person if they're in an influential role in their life. I believe that the standard of leadership has lessened. I coined this phrase, in the Bible in Samuel, it talks about a place called Lodabar. And what I say is we've lowered the bar. I think we have to raise it back up. And I think when we do, then it will garner its own respect and honor. I believe that as preachers, we have a great responsibility to walk in integrity and to handle ourselves in such a way that people are drawn to the Christ that we talk about. So I am a Jesus promoter.
Well, that sounds really great because, that's exactly what the information I was trying to get out of you for our viewers out there. Is this book just for people in the church only, or can people on the streets or people in the urban world use techniques to apply to their lives?
No, this book is written universally. Anybody who's going through any type of life challenges can pick up any chapter in this book and find solace. Like, for example, let me read some of the titles to you.
Okay.
Chapter 1 is messing with your mind. I talk about, of course, how to overcome mental challenges. Chapter 2 is no more abuse. I address spiritual abuse. That's taboo. No one talks about it. But in my book, I deal with it. What happens when you're in a situation where your leader is spiritually abusing and manipulating you? Mm-hmm. So I give answers there. I talk about temptation, how things look tempting. Eve looked at the fruit on the tree, and because it looked tempting to her eye, her emotions followed suit. I talk about damaged emotions. I have a chapter on extreme makeover. This one is geared towards people who are having sexual identity issues, homosexuality, lesbianism. That's a topic that's taboo in the church. I address that.
It's very deep that you mentioned that because there's a lot of issues in that book that can help people not just in the church but in a daily walk in their lives. Let's see a copy of that book. Show the people what the book looked like so when they go to the stores, they know what to look for on the shelves.
That's
a wonderful book. Overcome It. You got to get it by my great brother and my great friend. You got to make sure you get your hands on that book by Brother Archie. You know what? Where can they find that book? Give us your website and your contact information.
Certainly. JonathanArchie.org. They can go to tapepublishing.com, or they can go anywhere that Christian books are sold, Barnes & Nobles, Amazon.com, Christianbooks.com, anywhere that books are sold, they can look it up. It's called You Can Overcome It by Jonathan Archie, and it'll be a blessing to everyone who reads it.
Thank you so very much. That's it, Brother Steve. Another great, successful Brother Steve Skype interview. Don't forget to hit me up at my information right there on the screen. We love to interview you too as well. Talk about your new book, your new program, whatever you have. We're here to help you, help get the word out because we reach people. Until next time, same place, same location. I'm Brother Steve. Until next time, good day, good evening, and God bless you.